Jake Martinez wiped the grease from his hands as he walked through the empty corridors of Titan Station. The night shift was always quiet in the lower levels where he worked. Most people stayed in the upper sections where the bars and shops were. Down here, it was just him and the machines that kept everyone alive. The air recycler in Section 7 had been making strange noises for 3 days. Jake carried his toolbox and followed the sound deeper into the station. These old mining outposts were built like mazes. Pipes and cables ran everywhere. The lighting was dim and half the panels flickered. Jake found the broken recycler behind a wall of storage containers. Someone had dumped old equipment here years ago and forgotten about it. He squeezed between 2 massive oxygen tanks and started working on the machine. The noise was coming from a loose fan blade. Easy fix. That was when he heard the whimpering. Jake stopped working and listened. The sound came again. It was weak and scared. Jake grabbed his flashlight and followed the noise. Behind a stack of metal crates, he found something that made him freeze. A girl lay curled up on the floor, but she was not human. Her ears were pointed like a wolf and stuck out from her dark hair. Her teeth were too sharp when she opened her mouth to breathe. Her eyes were golden yellow even in the dim light. Blood covered her clothes and the floor around her. Jake had never seen anything like her. He knew there were other species out in space, but Titan Station was far from the main trade routes. They rarely saw aliens here. This girl looked like she was dying. She opened her eyes and saw him. Jake expected her to run or attack. Instead, she just stared at him with those strange golden eyes. She tried to say something but only made a weak sound. Jake looked around the empty storage area. No one came down here except him. If he left her, she would die. If he helped her, he could get in serious trouble. The station had rules about unregistered aliens, but she was just a kid, maybe 18 or 19 years old. Jake made his choice. He put down his tools and knelt beside her. The girl flinched when he got close but did not try to move away. Jake could see burns on her arms and legs. They looked like energy weapon wounds. Someone had shot her, and she had crawled down here to hide. "Hey," Jake said softly. "I want to help you. Can you walk?" The girl shook her head. Jake looked at her injuries again. She had lost a lot of blood. He needed to get her somewhere safe and treat those wounds. His quarters were small, but private. No one would look for her there. Jake picked her up as gently as he could. She was lighter than he expected. Her clothes were torn and dirty. She smelled like metal and fear. Jake carried her through the maintenance tunnels to avoid the main corridors. The girl stayed quiet the whole time. Jake's quarters were in the worker housing section, just one room with a bed, desk, and small kitchen. He laid the girl on his bed and got his first aid kit. Jake had basic medical training from his time in the merchant fleet. Nothing fancy but enough to handle cuts and burns. The girl watched him clean her wounds. She had stopped bleeding, but the burns were bad. Jake used everything in his kit: antiseptic, bandages, and pain medicine. The girl never complained even when it must have hurt. "What's your name?" Jake asked while he worked. The girl looked at him for a long time. Then she spoke in a voice like broken glass. "Luna." "I'm Jake," he said. "You're safe now, Luna. No one will hurt you here." Luna closed her eyes and fell asleep. Jake covered her with a blanket and sat in his chair. He looked at her peaceful face and wondered what he had gotten himself into. Her injuries were serious. She would need time to heal, and she was definitely not human. Jake called in sick to work the next day, and the day after that, he told his supervisor he had caught some bug. Meanwhile, Luna slept and slowly got better. Jake fed her soup and changed her bandages. She did not talk much, but she watched everything he did. On the 3rd day, Luna was strong, enough to sit up. Jake was fixing breakfast when he turned around and found her kneeling on the floor beside his bed. Her head was bowed and her hands were flat on the ground. "Luna, what are you doing?" She looked up at him with those golden eyes. "You are my alpha now," she said in her broken accent. "You saved Luna's life. You are pack leader. Luna is your huntress. Jake stared at her. I'm not anyone's leader. I just helped you because you were hurt. Luna shook her head firmly. You claim Luna by saving life. Pack law. Luna belongs to Alpha Jake now. Jake tried to explain that he was just a mechanic who fixed air recyclers. He was not a leader of anything, but Luna would not listen. She kept calling him Alpha and talking about pack laws he did not understand. That afternoon, Jake went to work while Luna rested in his quarters. He told her to stay inside and not let anyone see her. Luna nodded and promised to obey her Alpha. Jake was still not comfortable with that word, but he had bigger problems to worry about. When Jake returned that evening, he expected to find Luna waiting for him. Instead, he found her sitting calmly at his small table. In front of her was a bag that had not been there when he left. What is that? Jake asked. Luna smiled and opened the bag. Jake jumped back and nearly fell over his chair. Inside the bag was a human head. Jake recognized the face. It was Tony Ricci. He ran one of the protection rackets in the lower levels. Tony had been demanding money from Jake for months. Luna brought gift for Alpha, she said proudly. Bad man who hurt Alpha is gone now. Luna is good huntress, yes? Jake stared at the head, then at Luna. She looked happy and excited like a dog. That had brought back a stick, but she had brought back a human head. Jake realized that saving Luna's life had changed everything. She was not just some lost alien girl. She was something much more dangerous. And now she thought he was her leader. Jake spent the next hour disposing of Tony Ricci's head in the station's waste recycler. His hands shook the whole time. Luna watched him work with curious golden eyes. She did not seem to understand why he was upset. Alpha not happy with Luna's gift? She asked when he finished. Jake sat down heavily in his chair. Luna, you can't kill people. It's wrong. Luna tilted her head like a confused animal. Bad man hurt Alpha. Take Alpha's money. Threaten Alpha. Luna, protect Pack. This is good. Thing. Jake tried to explain human laws and morality, but Luna came from a different world with different rules. To her, eliminating threats to the Pack was not just acceptable, it was necessary. She could not understand why Jake would let enemies live. Tell Luna about Pack, Jake said finally. Maybe if he understood her people, he could figure out how to handle this situation. Luna's eyes brightened. She loved talking about her species. The Vargar were pack hunters from the Outer Rim territories. They lived in family groups led by an alpha. The strongest and smartest became leaders. The rest followed without question. Luna born to Iron Fang Pack, she explained. Alpha was cruel, hurt females, kill cubs for fun. Luna challenge him. Pack, law say any can challenge Alpha? What happened? Luna's expression darkened. Luna lost. Too young, too small. Alpha banished Luna from Pack. Send Luna to die alone in space. Jake began to understand. Luna was an exile, a rogue Vargar with no Pack, and no place in her society. When he saved her life, she had latched onto him as her new Alpha. It was probably the only way she knew how to survive. How does Pack leadership work? Jake asked. Alpha leads. Pack follows. Alpha protects Pack. Pack protects Alpha. Simple. It was not simple at all. Jake was starting to realize he had accidentally become responsible for a deadly predator who thought protecting him meant killing anyone who caused problems. And Luna seemed to enjoy the killing part. The next morning, Jake went to work as usual. He told Luna to stay in his quarters and not hurt anyone while he was gone. She promised to be good. Jake spent his shift trying to act normal while repairing atmospheric systems, but he kept thinking about Luna and wondering what she might be doing. When Jake returned home, he found Luna pacing around his small room like a caged animal. She had cleaned his quarters and organized his belongings with military precision, but she looked restless and bored. Luna needs to hunt, she said. Pack huntress must hunt or go crazy. You can't hunt people, Luna. Then what Luna hunt? Jake thought about it. The station had problems with maintenance robots going haywire sometimes, and there were always pest animals in the vents. Maybe Luna could hunt those instead of humans. Station has robot problems in the lower levels, Jake said. Security bots, malfunction and attack workers. Can you hunt robots? Luna's eyes lit up. Luna hunt anything Alpha commands. The next few days established a routine. Jake went to work during the day while Luna hunted malfunctioning robots and pest animals through the station's ventilation system. She was incredibly good at it. Her enhanced senses let her track anything that moved through the station's infrastructure. Her claws and fangs could tear through metal and circuitry. Jake started getting praise from his supervisor for solving so many robot problems. The station's pest control issues disappeared completely. Luna was happy because she got to hunt. Jake was happy because she was not killing people. That lasted exactly 1 week. The problem started with Administrator Collins. He was a fat bureaucrat who skimmed money from worker paychecks and demanded bribes for basic services. Jake had always avoided him, but Collins decided he wanted a piece of Jake's new success. Collins cornered Jake after work one day. Heard you've been real useful lately, Martinez, fixing all kinds of problems. Maybe you need to share some of that success with your betters. Jake tried to walk away, but Collins grabbed his arm. I'm talking to you, boy. You want to keep your job, you start paying me a monthly fee. Call it administrative costs. Jake pulled free and left without saying anything. But Collins had made his point clear. Pay up or face consequences. Jake had dealt with corruption before. Usually he just paid the bribes and stayed out of trouble. But now he had Luna to think about. Jake did not tell Luna about Collins. He hoped the administrator would lose interest and find easier targets. But Collins was persistent. He started showing up at Jake's workstation demanding money. He threatened to have Jake fired or arrested on false charges. Luna noticed Jake was stressed. She asked him what was wrong, but Jake said it was nothing. He did not want her to solve the problem the way she had solved the Tony Ricci problem. But Luna was a huntress. She could smell fear and anger on Jake. She could hear the change in his heartbeat when Collins was mentioned. It did not take her long to identify the threat. Jake came home 3 days later to find Luna sitting calmly at the table again. This time there was no bag. But there was blood under her fingernails, and she had that same pleased expression. Where? Is Administrator Collins? Jake asked. Bad man had accident, Luna said innocently. Fall into recycling center. Very sad. Jake closed his eyes. Luna, I told you not to kill people. Luna, not kill. Luna, just follow bad man. Watch bad man threaten Alpha. Bad man walk near recycling center. Bad man slip and fall. Accident. Jake knew it was not an accident. Luna had probably stalked Collins through the station until she found the right moment. She had made it look like an accident to protect Jake from suspicion. Luna, protect Alpha, she said firmly. This is what Huntress do. Alpha not need to worry about bad men anymore. The next day, station security found Collins's body in the recycling center. They ruled it an accidental death. Collins had been drunk and stumbled into the machinery. Case closed. But Jake knew the truth. Luna was not going to stop protecting him just because he asked her to. She was a predator following her instincts. To her, eliminating threats was an act of love and loyalty. Jake realized he had 2 choices. He could try to get rid of Luna somehow, or he could learn to live with having a deadly alien huntress who considered him her pack leader. The problem was solved for him a few days later. Jake was working in the lower levels when Luna appeared out of nowhere. Her golden eyes were wide with excitement and fear. Alpha must listen, she said urgently. Luna smell other Vargar on station. 3 hunters. They look for Luna. Jake felt cold. Your old pack? No. Bounty hunters. Someone pay them to bring Luna back, dead or alive. Jake looked at Luna's scared face and made his decision. She was his responsibility now, whether he liked it or not. And if someone was coming to hurt her, they would have to go through him first. "What do we do?" Jake asked. Luna smiled, and her fear disappeared. "We hunt them first, Alpha. Luna, show Alpha how Pack fights together." The 3 Cathari assassins arrived on the next supply ship. Luna smelled them before they even left the docking bay. She found Jake in the maintenance tunnels and pulled him into a hidden alcove. "They here," she whispered. "Reptile hunters, very dangerous, very patient." Jake had heard of the Cathari, cold-blooded killers who worked for anyone willing to pay their fees. They were known for taking their time and doing thorough research before making a move. That might be the only advantage Jake and Luna had. "What do they want?" Jake asked. Luna's old Alpha put bounty on Luna's head. Big money for bringing Luna back alive. More money if Luna dead. Jake felt anger rise in his chest. Luna was just a kid who had challenged a cruel leader. Now she was being hunted like an animal because she had tried to do the right thing. "We need to leave the station," Jake said. Luna shook her head. "Too late. Reptiles already here. They watch all exits. They wait and study before they strike. Luna knows how they hunt. Then what do we do?" Luna's golden eyes gleamed. "We hunt them first. Luna knows station better than they do. Luna faster and stronger, but Luna need Alpha to lead." Jake did not feel like a leader. He was just a mechanic who had gotten in over his head. But Luna was looking at him with complete trust. She believed he could guide them through this. Over the next 2 days, Jake learned more about Vargar pack dynamics than he wanted to know. Luna explained that alphas did not lead through strength alone. They led through intelligence and strategy. The strongest Vargar was not always the best leader. Alpha think. Huntress act. Pack works together, Luna said. Jake started to understand. Luna did not need him to be stronger or faster than her. She needed him to be smarter. She could handle the fighting if he could handle the planning. Jake used his knowledge of the station's layout to their advantage. He knew every maintenance tunnel and service corridor. He knew where the security cameras were and how to avoid them. He knew which areas were abandoned and which were always busy. The Cathari were asking questions about Luna. They showed her picture to workers and offered money for information. But they were being careful not to attract too much attention from station security. That gave Jake an idea. "We make them sloppy," Jake told Luna. "Force them to act before they are ready." Jake started spreading rumors about Luna through the worker grapevine. He said she was a dangerous alien who had killed several people. He said station security was looking for her. He made sure the rumors reached the Cathari through third parties. The assassins began to move faster. They could not afford to let station security capture their target before they did. Their careful surveillance became active hunting. Luna was delighted by the change. She had been getting restless, waiting for them to make a move. Now she could track them as they searched for her. "First hunter checks maintenance levels," Luna reported after her evening reconnaissance. "Second hunter watches worker housing. Third hunter guards exits." Jake nodded. "Can you take them one at a time?" "Luna can try, but reptiles tough. Armor, skin, poison claws. Luna might get hurt." That was what Jake was afraid of. He had seen Luna fight robots and small animals. But these were professional killers with weapons and experience. If Luna got injured or killed, Jake would be alone and defenseless. "We need to be smarter than them," Jake said. "Use the station itself as a weapon." Jake knew the station's systems better than anyone. He knew which areas had unstable atmospheric pressure. He knew where the artificial gravity was weak. He knew which sections could be sealed off remotely. They set their trap in the old mining sector. Jake lured the first Cathari hunter into the abandoned tunnels by leaving false clues about Luna's hideout. Once the assassin was deep in the maze, Jake sealed the exits and started venting the atmosphere. The Cathari had breathing equipment, but not enough for a long hunt in vacuum. Jake gave him a choice through the comm system. Leave the station immediately or suffocate in the tunnels. The first assassin left. The second hunter was smarter. He realized what had happened and changed tactics. Instead of hunting Luna directly, he started grabbing random workers and threatening to hurt them unless Luna surrendered. This made Luna furious. Reptile used pack tactics against Luna. This not honor fight. Jake felt sick watching innocent people get threatened because of him and Luna. But he also realized this was their chance. The Cathari had made himself visible and predictable. Where is he holding them? Jake asked. Loading Bay 7. Has 3 workers. Says he kill one every hour until Luna comes. Jake studied the station schematics. Loading Bay 7 was isolated but had multiple entry points. More importantly, it was connected to the main cargo handling system. I have an idea, Jake said. But you have to trust me and do exactly what I say. Luna nodded immediately. Luna trust Alpha. Jake used the cargo system's remote controls to activate the massive loading arms while the Cathari was distracted with his hostages. The heavy, mechanical arms moved like giant hammers, forcing the assassin to dodge and weave. In the confusion, Luna struck from above through a ventilation grate. The fight was brutal, but brief. The Cathari was tough, but Luna was faster and had the element of surprise. She did not kill him, but she hurt him badly enough that he could not continue hunting. The second assassin also left the station. The third hunter was the most dangerous. He realized his partners had failed and decided to change the game completely. Instead of hunting Luna, he started hunting Jake. Jake was working in the reactor section when Luna found him in a panic. Alpha in danger. Third reptile knows Alpha. Is Luna's weakness. He hunt Alpha instead of Luna. Jake felt cold fear run down his spine. He had been so focused on protecting Luna that he had not considered he might become the target. Where is he? Close. Luna can smell him. He follows Alpha's scent through maintenance areas. Jake looked around the reactor room. It was a dead end, with only one exit. If the Cathari found him here, he would be trapped. But maybe that was not a bad thing. Luna, can you get above us without being detected? Yes. Why? Because I am going to let him find me. When he comes through that door, you hit him from above. Luna looked worried. Too dangerous for Alpha. Reptile might hurt Alpha before Luna can stop him. Do you trust me? Jake asked. Luna stared at him with those golden eyes. Then she smiled. Luna trust Alpha. Alpha very smart. Jake waited in the reactor room while Luna climbed into the ceiling above. He could hear the Cathari moving through the corridors outside. Getting closer. The assassin appeared in the doorway with weapons drawn. He was bigger than Jake expected, covered in scales and natural armor. His eyes were cold and calculating. You are the human who leads the Vargar exile, he said in perfect standard. Surrender, and I will make your death quick. I am not surrendering, Jake said. The Cathari smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. Then you will die slowly. He raised his weapon just as Luna dropped from the ceiling behind him. Her claws raked across his neck and shoulder. The assassin spun around and tried to shoot her, but Jake tackled him from behind. The fight lasted longer than Jake expected. The Cathari was stronger and better armed, but he was fighting 2 opponents who worked together perfectly. Jake distracted while Luna attacked. Luna drew attention while Jake flanked. Finally, the assassin went down. Luna stood over him, breathing hard. Her golden eyes were bright with excitement and pride. Pack fight good together, she said. Alpha lead well. Jake looked at the defeated assassin and realized something had changed. He no longer felt like he was just reacting to problems. He had planned and executed a successful strategy. He had led Luna in battle, and they had won. For the first time since meeting Luna, Jake felt like he might actually be worthy of being called Alpha. Word spread quickly through the criminal underworld about the human mechanic and his Vargar huntress. Some people were impressed, others were scared. A few were very interested in hiring them. Captain Amy Foster arrived on Titan Station 2 weeks after the Cathari incident. She was a tough woman in her 40s who ran cargo between the frontier colonies. Her ship was called the Star Runner, and she had a problem. "Pirates have been hitting my routes for 3 months," she told Jake and Luna in a quiet bar. "Standard security doesn't work. They know all our tricks. I need something different." Jake was not sure he wanted to get involved with space pirates, but Luna was excited by the idea. Her golden eyes gleamed as Amy described the attacks. "These pirates smart?" Luna asked. "Smart enough. They use fast ships and hit quick, take what they want, and disappear before help arrives." Luna likes smart. "Enemies. More fun to hunt." Amy smiled grimly. "I can pay well, and I can get you both off this station if you want to leave." Jake had been thinking about leaving Titan Station. Too many people knew about him and Luna now. It was only a matter of time before someone else came looking for them. "What kind of cargo are you carrying?" Jake asked. "Medical supplies for the Centauri colonies. People are dying without these medicines. The pirates don't care." That decided it for Jake. Luna was all ready, eager to hunt pirates, and helping sick colonists was the right thing to do. The Star Runner was a medium freighter with basic weapons and shields. Amy's crew consisted of 5 humans who looked like they had seen plenty of trouble. They accepted Jake and Luna without too many questions. Luna loved being on a starship. She spent hours exploring every corridor and maintenance shaft. She memorized the ship's layout in case they were boarded. She also spent time in the cargo bay practicing her combat moves. "Luna happy," she told Jake one evening. "Pack has ship now. Pack travels space like ancient Vargar hunters." Jake was learning more about Vargar history from Luna. Her people had been space nomads for thousands of years before they settled on planets. Ships felt like home to them. The pirates struck 3 days into their journey. Long-range sensors detected 4 fast attack, ships closing on their position. Amy tried to run, but the pirate ships were faster. "This is Captain Rex Morton of the Bloody Fang," came the transmission. "Prepare to be boarded. Surrender your cargo and you might live." Amy looked at Jake. "This is it. You ready?" Jake felt nervous, but also excited. He had been planning for this moment since they left Titan Station. "Luna, are you ready to hunt?" Luna smiled, showing her sharp teeth. "Luna ready, Alpha." The pirates docked with the Star Runner and started cutting through the airlock. Jake and Luna waited in the cargo bay while Amy's crew took defensive positions. But this was not going to be a normal boarding action. Jake had studied the ship's internal systems. He could control lights, gravity, and atmosphere from the command panels. Luna had mapped every hiding spot and attack route. They were going to turn the Star Runner into a hunting ground. The pirates came through the airlock in full combat armor, 12 humans with military-grade weapons. They moved like professionals, checking corners and covering each other. Jake hit the lights. In the sudden darkness, Luna struck. Her enhanced vision let her see perfectly, while the pirates stumbled blind. She moved through them like a ghost, using claws and fangs to disable their weapons and armor. Jake used the ship's systems to help her. He vented atmosphere in some sections to force the pirates to retreat. He reversed gravity in others to throw them off balance. He turned the Star Runner into a maze of traps and hazards. But the pirates were good. They adapted quickly and started working in tight groups. Their leader, Captain Morton, was smart enough to realize he was fighting something inhuman. "Demalas. Back to the docking ring," Morton ordered. "We regroup and come back with heavy weapons." That was when Jake made a mistake. He tried to seal the docking ring to trap the retreating pirates, but Morton had left guards at the airlocks. Jake's move trapped Luna in the forward sections with most of the pirates, while he was stuck in the rear sections. Luna was outnumbered, 6-1. Even with her speed and strength, those were bad odds. Jake watched through the security cameras as she fought desperately to stay alive. "I need to help her," Jake told Amy. "You go out there and you are both dead," Amy replied. But Jake was Luna's alpha. He could not abandon his huntress. Jake grabbed a maintenance suit and started cutting through the sealed bulkhead with a plasma torch. That was when they heard the roar. It came from the docking ring where the pirate ships were attached. A sound like nothing human, deep and primal, and full of rage. "What the hell was that?" one of Amy's crew asked. Jake knew exactly what it was. Another Vargur. The pirates had brought their own alien hunter. Jake finally cut through the bulkhead and reached Luna's position. She was backed into a corner, bleeding from several wounds. The remaining pirates had her pinned down with suppressing fire. "Alpha," Luna gasped when she saw him. "Other Vargur here. Big male. Smells wrong." Wrong how? Drugs. Pain. Anger. Not. Natural pack scent. Jake understood. The pirates were controlling their Vargur with chemicals instead of leadership. That explained why Captain Morton was so confident. The pirate Vargur appeared at the end of the corridor. He was much larger than Luna, with dark fur and red eyes. Chemical injectors were attached to his neck, feeding combat stimulants into his system. He looked at Luna and snarled. "Fenrir, kill the female," Morton ordered through a comm device. The big Vargur charged. Luna tried to dodge, but she was too weak from her injuries. Fenrir slammed into her and sent her crashing into the bulkhead. Jake did something stupid. He stepped between Fenrir and Luna. "Stop," Jake said firmly. Fenrir paused, confused. Jake was obviously not a threat physically, but there was something in his voice that made the drugged Vargur hesitate. "You are Vargur," Jake said. "You know Pack. Law. I am Alpha here." Fenrir tilted his massive head. Through the drug haze, he could sense something familiar about this human. Luna struggled to her feet behind Jake. "Alpha mine," she said weakly. "Good Alpha, not hurt Pack." Fenrir looked between Jake and Luna. Then he looked at the chemical injectors on his neck. Jake could see intelligence fighting against the drugs in those red eyes. "Your captain uses drugs to control you," Jake said. "That is not how a real Alpha leads. A real Alpha earns loyalty through strength and wisdom." Captain Morton's voice came through the comm. "Fenrir, obey your orders. Kill them both." But Fenrir was not listening anymore. He reached up and tore the chemical injectors from his neck. Purple drug fluid sprayed across the corridor. As the stimulants left his system, his red eyes slowly returned to their natural amber color. "You challenge Morton's leadership?" Jake asked. Fenrir nodded slowly. "Bad Alpha. Use poison instead of strength. Shame on Pack." "Then show me you are worthy of a better Pack." Fenrir smiled, showing massive fangs. Then he turned and charged back toward the docking ring where Captain Morton was waiting. The sound of Captain Morton's screaming echoed through the Star Runner's corridors. It did not last long. Fenrir had years of anger to work through, and Morton had been a very bad Alpha. Jake helped Luna to the medical bay while Amy's crew secured the pirate ships. Luna's wounds were not serious, but she needed rest. Fenrir found them there an hour later. The big Vargur looked different without the drugs in his system. Calmer and more intelligent. He knelt beside Luna's medical bed and touched her shoulder gently. "Sister Warrior fought well," he said in accented standard. "Fenrir sorry for attack." "Luna understand," she replied. "Bad drugs make Vargur crazy. Not your fault." Fenrir looked at Jake. "Human Alpha freed Fenrir from poison slavery. Fenrir owes life debt." Jake was not sure he wanted another Vargur following him around, but he could see the hope in Fenrir's amber eyes. The big alien had been a slave for months. Jake had given him back his freedom and his honor. "What will you do now?" Jake asked. "Fenrir serve Alpha Jake if Alpha will have him. Make strong Pack together." Luna smiled from her medical bed. "Pack grows. Luna like having Pack brother." Jake realized he had accidentally started collecting Vargur. First Luna, now Fenrir. He wondered how many more would show up looking for a human Alpha who treated them with respect instead of drugs and threats. Captain Amy found them in the medical bay. She looked tired, but satisfied. "My crew is checking the pirate ships for useful cargo. We found something interesting you should know about." She led them to one of the captured pirate vessels. In the ship's computer files, they found records of other Vargar sales and purchases. Captain Morton had been part of a larger network that captured and enslaved Jake's people. There are dozens of them scattered across the sector, Amy said, all being used as weapons or guards or hunters for various criminal groups. Luna growled low in her throat. Pack siblings in chains. This is wrong. Fenrir nodded grimly. Many good Vargar captured when trying to find new packs, sold to humans who used drugs and pain to control them. Jake looked at the records and felt sick. The slave trade was bigger than he had imagined, but it also gave him an idea. Amy, what if we changed your business model? Jake asked. What do you mean? Instead of just running cargo, what if we specialized in security services? There are a lot of frontier colonies that need protection from pirates and raiders. Amy considered this. Could be profitable, especially with your unique crew. Over the next few weeks, the Star Runner became something new. Amy kept running cargo routes, but now they also took security contracts. Jake and his growing pack of Vargar provided protection that no ordinary security firm could match. Word spread quickly about the human alpha and his alien hunters. Some colonies hired them to deal with bandit problems. Others wanted protection for valuable shipments. A few asked them to rescue captured family members from slave traders. Every rescue mission brought more freed Vargar to Jake's pack. They came from different backgrounds and had different skills. Some were warriors like Luna and Fenrir. Others were scouts or engineers or medics. But they all shared one thing. They had been abandoned or abused by their original packs and were looking for a new home. Jake found himself learning to lead a very diverse group. Vargar pack dynamics were more complex than he had first understood. There were hierarchies and traditions and customs he needed to respect. But his human perspective also brought new ideas that helped the pack work better together. Luna became his second in command. She helped translate between Jake's human thinking and Vargar instincts. Fenrir became the pack's military leader, training the younger Vargar in combat tactics. Amy handled the business side of their growing operation. 6 months after the pirate encounter, Jake's security company had become one of the most successful operations in the sector. They had freed over 30 Vargar from various forms of slavery. They had shut down 3 major pirate groups, and they had established permanent security contracts with a dozen frontier colonies. Jake stood on the Star Runner's bridge looking out at the stars. Luna joined him there as she did every evening. Alpha happy with pack? She asked. Jake watched Fenrir training young Vargar in the cargo bay through the security monitors. He saw Amy negotiating another contract in her office. He counted 24, alien faces that looked at him with trust and loyalty. I never expected my life to turn out this way, Jake said. Luna never expect to find Alpha like Jake, she replied. Most alphas lead through fear. Jake leads through kindness. Do you ever regret not staying with your birth pack? Luna laughed. Birth pack, cruel and stupid. This pack's smart and strong. Luna found real family with Alpha Jake. Jake smiled. When he had first found Luna bleeding in that storage room, he thought he was just helping an injured kid. He had no idea. That simple act of kindness would lead to all this. A new message came through the communication system. Another colony requesting security services. Another chance to help people who needed protection. Another opportunity for his pack to do something worthwhile. New hunt? Luna asked hopefully. New hunt, Jake confirmed. Luna's golden eyes gleamed with excitement. She keyed the ship's internal communicator to address the entire pack. Pack warriors to briefing room. Alpha has new mission for us. Jake watched his people respond to Luna's call. 24 Vargar moving with purpose and confidence. They trusted him to lead them well. They believed in the pack he had accidentally created. Jake had gone from being a lonely mechanic to leading the most unusual security company in human space. He had learned that sometimes the best things in life came from the most unexpected places, and sometimes helping one lost soul led to helping many others. As the Star Runner changed course toward their next destination, Jake reflected on how much his life had changed. He had saved a stray werewolf girl and gained a pack. He had become an alpha without meaning to. And he had discovered that being a leader was not about being the strongest or the smartest. It was about caring enough to do the right thing, even when it was difficult. Luna stood beside him watching the stars stream by as they jumped to hyperspace. She was no longer a lost exile. She was a huntress with a purpose and a pack she belonged to. "Where we go next, Alpha?" she asked. Jake looked at the mission details Amy had sent him. Another colony under attack, more people who needed help. More chances to make a difference. "Wherever the pack is needed," Jake said. Luna smiled and her tail wagged slightly. "Luna ready for new adventures with Alpha." Jake smiled back. So was he.